I want to talk about QuickBooks for a second.
Good.
I think this is one of the other things that I see a lot of. We're working on our own. We're by ourselves. Maybe we're starting to think about hiring somebody, bringing someone on.
Mhm.
Um, when should somebody start with some sort of a bookkeeping platform like a QuickBooks or something similar?
Mhm.
Should it be from day one? Should they start with Excel? What is your kind of recommendation as far as keeping track of the bills, the money, the payments?
So it was funny because I last week I actually taught a class. I taught an accounting 101 class to small business owners, and I had a woman there, and she goes, "Okay, so tell me when to hire a bookkeeper." And I said, "Do you do your books right now?" She said, "No." I said, "Do you know how much money you make?" "No." "Do you know where your money is going?" "No." It's time to hire a bookkeeper, right? So for me, that's the piece, right? Because my background is accounting. So for me, I, I want people to do it automatically. I want that to be one of the very first things they hire out because 50%, almost 50% of small businesses close in the first 18 months due to poor financial cash management. So, what does it look like to hire a bookkeeper? And I mean, I had a girl at that class, same thing. And I asked her, I said, "How many transactions are you running a month currently?" Right? Because she had just started. She's under 6 months old. And I said, how many transactions? She said, maybe 25. I said, then start in QuickBooks. Start in QuickBooks, and it's a bank register, it's a little Excel. You put in your little expenses, you add your income in there. Um, but when you start making some money, and it might not even be money. So let's say the type of business you're building has a lot of assets. Let's say you're having to buy buildings and equipment and vehicles and all of that. If that's the kind of business you're running, you need to get a bookkeeper immediately, in my opinion. I mean, if you're a little service-based company, run 25 transactions in Excel. But when you start getting into that 50, 100, it's probably time because more than likely you're not managing it, right? Because it's more work than what you want to do. And bookkeeper, if you have the right bookkeeper, it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, right? I think for me, again, knowledge is power. Being able to sit down with someone every single month and say, this is how much money you brought in, this is how much you spent, right? And I can give you percentages. I mean, I've done that with clients. For every dollar you bring in, 52 cents is going out the door just in your cost of goods sold and your payroll. That your business is not going to make it with that type of money going out the door, right? So those are conversations that if you are willing to invest the money, you will be in such a better financial position than to try to manage it on your own, because most people don't, right? And then their business goes under and they don't even understand why.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all comes back to money,
Mm-hmm.
knowing
Money,
knowing your numbers.
yeah. And money is hard. And money is vulnerable, and money is intimate and personal, business, all of it. I mean, it is an intimate subject. And so I get it. People don't want to hand that off. People don't want to sit down and have those conversations. And I mean, I do a lot of stuff with budgets. I sit down with business owners and be like, this is what your expenses are, and you're not even bringing enough money in to cover your expenses. So what do we need to do different? Do we need to increase our pricing? Right? Like, I mean, there's so many conversations that need to be had, and just unless you truly understand where you need to be, how are you ever going to scale? Because that's the question. Like, I want to get into business, and that's wonderful, but what is your goal? Do you want to be here in 5 years? Do you want to be making 500K a year? What is your goal? Because right now you don't have any information to even help you get to that goal, right? So what can you do? What kind of information and knowledge do you need to get yourself into the position where you're going to feel good about moving forward in